What is up, internet? Welcome back to Wayne's World of Gaming, where we play, talk and collect everything PlayStation. Today's video, I am just running through all the games I've completed in 2024 so far. Now, this isn't a list of games that have been released in 2024. These are numerous different years. These are just games I have played. So I started this year off, I came up with this idea in January, and I was going to make a note of every game I play throughout the full year of 2024 and make a video at the end of the year. Now, my aim for this was I wanted to try and finish 2 games per month. So by the end of the year, I'd have 24 games to show you all and just a brief explanation and my thoughts on each game. I have actually smashed that number. I'm like at 28 games now, I think. And it is only the beginning of July. So I've split it into part 1, and there's going to be a part 2 in December, which will be my follow-on video of this for the second half of the year, basically. Now, disclaimer, these games have not been 100%ed. I am not a trophy hunter. My aim is to just finish the main storylines, purely because I have so many games in my backlog. I want to get through them all, and I'm just going to finish the main storylines, move on to the next, and carry on. Some of these I may revisit later dates and, you know, carry on with the playthroughs and New Game Plus and things. But just for now, none of these games have been platinumed or 100%ed. These are just main stories. Now, the first game I played through was Final Fantasy XVI. In this game, you play as Clive. You have been separated from your family. They think you're dead, and you're kind of hiding away in the shadows. The plot twists, and you decide you've got to save the world, basically. And the gameplay in this is absolutely fantastic. Fight scenes, you can use your magic. You turn into the giant beasts. I forget what they're called now, but it is absolutely fantastic. Probably my favourite Final Fantasy game of all time. It is well up there. Combat is phenomenal, and the soundtrack is out of this world.
Enough of this. I use my talents to my advantage, and you would tell me there is shame in that?
We shared a dream. I would be the king of the world. Darkness has taken hold of you. It has made you forget yourself.
I don't want to be a monster, Clive.
I have to stop him. I have to save them.
Next on my list, I played through Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. This is such a throwback. It is out of this world. It took me way back. The nostalgia hit was real. It is like an arcade game. It is such fun to play. Don't get me wrong, you can't take this game too seriously, and it is very, very short. It is about 2.5 hours, but there is a co-op mode. You can have up to 4 players, beating all the bad guys and trying to foil Shredder's plans. Absolutely fantastic game, great fun. I recommend everybody play this just for a pure nostalgia hit.
Who you gonna call?
Ghostbusters!
Talking of nostalgia hits, Ghostbusters. Now, this was my 3rd game I played through this year. It is the 3rd film that we all really wanted. It kind of follows on from the 2nd film, back in the 80s, or the 90s rather, and it's got the original voice actors. All the 3D models are based on the actors. It is absolutely outstanding. It does have its flaws, like the gunplay and things. The controls are a little bit wobbly, but just for a pure nostalgia kick, it was absolutely out of this world.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. Or
Next I moved on to GTA 5. Now I know what you're all thinking. How the hell haven't you played GTA 5 before, Wayne? I just never got round to it. I missed the PS4 era and the majority of the PS3 era. So I thought this year I'm going to try and get it done. I had owned the game for a while and I had a little play around on it, but I never really done the story. So this year I thought, right, let's start a new game. Let's start the story from the beginning right to the end. And what a story it was. I can't believe I missed out on it. The way you can play 3 characters. Everyone knows GTA 5 by now. It is just one of those games that has a bit of everything for everyone. And open world wise, it is probably one of the best fully functioning cities out there. And I was just blown away. Obviously, I'm playing it way behind time, and it could have a few improvements now, but it's still very playable today, and I'm excited for the next one.
And I'll be damned if I know what to make of it.
Some sort of crystal. Enlightened souls.
Now, I don't know if you can call this one a game, but Final Fantasy XVI, they brought out a DLC for Final Fantasy XVI, obviously. It's called Echoes of the Fallen. It's about a 4-hour campaign, I believe, and as soon as it was released, I bought it and played through it, because like I said, I really enjoyed Final Fantasy XVI. Now, this just kind of expands on the story slightly and answers a few questions that you may have had. Follows suit with Final Fantasy XVI, as in the gameplay, the fighting and all the other stuff, the combat I should say. So really great. If you play the original Final Fantasy 16, I would recommend getting this DLC just to have the icing on the cake. Now, what do I say about this game? Ghost of Tsushima is a masterpiece. If you haven't played this game, I highly recommend it. There is a slight learning curve with the combat. It's not the easiest, it's not a hack and slash. But I enjoyed that about that. You've got to learn, you've got to, you know, perfect your skills like a samurai would. And once you sort of get the hang of it and learn the different movements and what does what, it's just great. The actual combat is fantastic. Graphically, it is insane. The soundtrack is phenomenal. This game is just a masterpiece. One of my favourite games of all time. Now, if you haven't played this, I really recommend that you do. It is just, well, I'm lost for words with this game. It is just out of this world.
Tell him I'm coming.
Maybe I can be like her.
Silent Hill short message. Now, you all know I'm a massive Silent Hill fan, horror in general. So when they announced this, it was straight after the PlayStation event. They said this will be downloadable from midnight. I jumped straight on it. It was free. It's a very short game, don't get me wrong, but I enjoyed it. There was a few people who didn't like it, but I enjoyed the tension. and when that monster thing starts chasing you, you do really fear for your life. A little slow in places. Obviously it's building on a story. I don't know if this is like a teaser for things they got in the future. It's not going to be for everyone, I'm not going to lie, but I thought it was pretty cool. I like what they did, but there is room for improvement. It was just a little slow, but hopefully they're just giving us a teaser of what they got coming, and I think it looks great.
I'm sorry. Stop! Please! What did I do to deserve this?
Another game I didn't play. I played the original Red Dead Redemption back on the PS3. This slipped me by, and Jesus, why I left that so long I do not know. This game blew me away. Now when I said earlier that Ghost of Tsushima is a masterpiece, so is this. This is next level. It's just so big and so open. There's so much you could do. You could literally spend hundreds of hours in this game. I've only played the story, which is absolutely impeccable. It is like a blockbuster movie. So if you haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2, where have you been? Get it played. It is absolutely outstanding. I was super excited for the release of this. I pre-ordered it. The day it came, it was straight in the console, and I wasn't disappointed. This follows on from Final Fantasy VII Remake perfectly. I can't wait for the next installment. So it's going to be like a trilogy, and just we already know the ending if you played the original, but the way they have reimagined the story of Final Fantasy VII and filled in a lot of gaps is absolutely incredible. Definitely worth a purchase, and this is probably my favourite Final Fantasy game, even over Final Fantasy XVI. Now Madison, I never really heard much about. I was looking for a horror game I wanted to do a live stream with, so it was a toss-up between this and Martha is Dead. I read a few reviews and things, and I went for this. I loved it. Now, it does have its flaws. It can be a bit slow. Graphically, it's really good, but the tension is the doors creaking and the noises behind you, always on the edge of your seat. I'm not going to spoil it, but when you meet the, I don't want to say bad guy, but the main protagonist then at the end, it is quite terrifying. At this moment, it is probably the scariest game I've ever played. I have got a lot more horrors to get through, so that may change. But as it stands, Madison is the scariest game I've ever played, purely just because of the atmosphere. Now, they have brought this out on VR, which if I had a VR 2 I would be tempted to play, even though I would probably crap my pants. But this in VR must be insane. So go check it out. It's not an expensive game, but it is well worth your time.
The attic.
I'm a bit behind with this one too, but when I first got my PS5, Miles Morales was a free download on the store, so I downloaded it and played it. I really enjoyed it. I never thought about really playing Spider-Man. I thought, oh, I will get round to it at some point. Obviously, Spider-Man 2 was announced. That came out, it looked outstanding. So I thought, right, I'm going to have to get the first one played beforehand. So glad I did. This game, well, it's the best Spider-Man game ever made, isn't it? Let's be honest. It is good looking. The soundtrack, when it first starts, it is like you're watching a Spider-Man movie. The combat is great. The swinging around, you've never felt so free. Absolutely incredible game. I'm sure you've all played it by now. If you haven't, get on it.
I received a disturbing letter from Jeremy accusing the staff and all the other patients of being involved in some cult. And now they're also out to get him.
Alone in the Dark. Another game I pre-ordered. I was super excited for this. Seeing trailers and things, graphically it looked fantastic. You know, the actors in it are actual actors. They face modelled on them. And it just had that feel. And I'm a fan of Alone in the Dark. However, didn't quite live up to expectations. It was quite a cheap game. It wasn't the £50-60 you normally pay for a new release. I think it was £40 or £45. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it's not great. It is quite stagnant. The enemies and the AI isn't brilliant. Doesn't really explain a lot where the enemies come from and why. A lot of people didn't like the combat and a limited amount of guns. I enjoyed that. I like to keep it simple, and if I've got a pistol, a shotgun and a machine gun, I'm well away. And I'm not one for all the upgrades and things, so I kind of like that side of it. It's a good playthrough. It's a short playthrough. It's probably not worth full retail, so if you could pick a copy of this up for £20, I think you'll have fun. But I wouldn't spend the full money on this again if I'd known. But it's okay. It's just not brilliant.
My God!
Don't leave me alone. There must be something I can work with. Come on, Carnby, think.
Not everyone needs to be saved, Mr. Carnby. You should know that by now.
I did everything you wanted. What else can I do?
Today, the American Expeditionary Forces face considerable
John.
losses in France.
I think I've lost my head.
The brave men who
John.
defenders not of just Europe,
I am sorry.
not the world.
I can't do this.
What's the matter, Emily?
Lies. More lies.
Spring! Wait!
Let me tell you about the day of the big storm. The day the sun died. The day there was no school. And when school is cancelled and all
South
the
Park's
kids
No
are free,
Day.
it can
Now,
only mean one thing.
I didn't even know this game was coming out, and then all of a sudden I seen a trailer for it, and it was coming out that Friday. So I ordered it straight from game, had it that Friday. I used to be a massive South Park fan, so when I was in my teenage years, I had loads of memorabilia, absolutely adored it. I'm still a South Park fan as such now. I don't really watch it much anymore, but I love it, and it's great nostalgia, so I had to have it. Unfortunately, it is a massive disappointment. It was okay to play through, but it wasn't great. I think they should have kept the same formula as they did with Stick of Truth and Fractured But Whole. The 3D modelling and stuff, it looks okay, but it's not great, and just didn't have the same feel as the other two games. So I wouldn't really recommend buying it unless you could get it super cheap. It wasn't expensive on release day, in fairness, but it's not a great playthrough if I'm honest. But if you just want a bit of fun and some rude jokes, this is a game for you.
Oh my god, that could be it. Thanks a lot, new kid. This is all your fault.
Dark Christmas is upon us, and he has taken his final form.
All these guys in this room, they're here because they have the only thing that matters to me.
I then went on to play Mafia. Now this is the deluxe edition, I believe, which is like remastered for the PS4.
They're loyal.
If you haven't played it,
That's
please
right.
do. Absolutely outstanding. Again, it's like watching a movie. You get so engrossed into the game. It's so immersive. Voice acting, everything, it is fantastic. I can't recommend this game enough. It is cheap. I didn't think I'd like it, but oh my god, I loved it, and it made me want more. So get a hold of a copy of this game and give it a playthrough. It is absolutely phenomenal.
Don't sass me, Tommy. I'm trying to teach you the ropes, so you don't get strangled by them.
Now you stay straight with me, you're gonna be living the high life, Tom. You abuse my trust.
Don Salieri, you won't ever need to worry about me.
Okay then. Welcome to the family.
USG Ishimura, this is the emergency maintenance team of the USG Kellyan responding to your distress call.
I think it's me. It's all...
Dead Space Remake. Now, I owned this game. I bought it pretty much at release. I paid full price for it, and it was sat sealed on my shelf for 12 months. Bit gutting really, because I could buy it from CEX and Asda and things for like 20 quid by the time I got round to playing it. Did I enjoy it? Not really. I know a lot of people are going to be like, what are you talking about, Wayne? Graphically, it's amazing. I don't know, it just didn't grip me. Not like the original, so I was just plodding around and I wasn't enjoying myself. I don't know why, something just didn't hit me right. And looking at it on paper, the graphics are great, the sound effects are great, the story is still the same. They've actually expanded on it slightly, and now Isaac's got a voice, but I don't know, it just didn't grip me the way the first one did. Maybe it was because I'd been there, done it and seen it before. I think a lot of people will enjoy this game, but I can't really recommend it if it just didn't feel right to me. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong with that one, but yeah, it just didn't do it for me, unfortunately.
Humanity will be made.
Surprise, universe! It's me, Deadpool, Marvel anti-hero extraordinaire. This is my launch trailer, and research shows that trailers, dubstep, and absolute chaos go together like Wolverine and bad haircuts.
Deadpool. Now, I was lucky with this. I got this copy super cheap. If you watch the channel, you'll see I found it for £3 in a charity shop. The PS4 version. It's a great idea. Now, gameplay-wise, I didn't like it. It's not really that fun. The controls aren't great, and it's just really not aged well. But the actual story and the jokes and it is a funny game. It is so fun. Deadpool's supposed to be funny. It is funny. It is a bit of fun, but don't expect a great playthrough. It'll be quite annoying on times, but I had to stick it through to the end just because it was fun. So yeah, it's not a brilliant game, if I'm honest. I would never pay the price that they are asking for this game. I'm so glad I got it cheap. But if you just want a bit of fun, a bit of slapstick comedy and one-liners, give it a blast. But for that price, it's not really worth that. I'd probably go for the PS3 version, which is like half the price. But yeah, it was okay, just not fun to play, you know. It was a bit of a challenge in places.
Could somebody get a microphone? Because this would be a perfect time to drop it! Think fast, dummy!
Tonight's top story. War rages on in Detroit. A nuke floods the streets as a new gang leader emerges.
What can I say about this game? RoboCop, Rogue City. I wanted to give this a go from the day it came out, but I was a little bit dubious. I didn't want to pay the full price just in case it was one of those movie tie-ins that absolutely sucked. I left it and left it and left it. Now Ed, one of the subscribers and member of the Wolf Pack, he kept telling me, play it, it's great, play it, it's great. In the end, I gave in and bought it. So glad I did. You actually feel like you're RoboCop. This is my childhood dream. I am going around as RoboCop, killing all the bad guys. It doesn't follow any of the plots of the film, but it's just incredible. I can't get over it. Just play it. You will not regret it. If you're a RoboCop fan, you will absolutely enjoy this game to its fullest. It's so realistic and the graphics are fab. Just give it a bash. It is absolutely great fun.
Dead or alive, you are coming with me.
A lot's happened in the last 10 years. It's a miracle I'm even sitting here now. I got a second chance.
So the long-awaited Spider-Man 2. I finally got around to playing this. First impressions, it started, the cinematics, the thing with the Sandman, I was like, oh my god, this is next level. I thought to myself, I'm going to just platinum, I'm going to try and platinum this game because it's going to be incredible. I know it is. It wasn't long before that novelty wore off. Now, it's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination. I just think Insomniac played it safe for this one. They didn't put much more effort in. The storyline's okay, it's not great. And as for the gameplay itself, it is basically Spider-Man again. And I know you're going to say, well, how do you improve on such a great game? Very hard, but when you're playing this game, you just feel like, oh, I've done this all before. Maybe I should have left a bigger gap between playing the two, but it's a great game. But I think I preferred the original Spider-Man, in my opinion. Let me know in the comments if you think I'm wrong. It was great fun to play as Venom, I'm not going to lie, but it didn't last long enough in my opinion. Beautiful game, great soundtrack. Opening scenes, you feel like you're in a movie, but it just missed the mark for me, unfortunately. But it was still okay to play.
Here is an invitation for any funny stuff. Not that I have a problem with funny stuff, especially if you really like the person. My name is Juliet.
Lollipop Chainsaw. I managed to pick this up on the PS3. It took me a little while to get a copy because it's not the easiest game to find anymore and it's quite expensive. So I stuck it in my PS3 and thought, here we go, this is going to be fun. It wasn't, not for me at least anyway. I found it so repetitive, it drove me insane. Not even a great storyline, it's just full of cheese, one-liners. I don't know why I don't like it, I just didn't. I do like one-liners, I do like cheese. I kind of like the art style and stuff, but it just did nothing for me. I couldn't wait for it to be over. It was just so repetitive. Let me know if you enjoyed this in the comments, and am I just being an old fuddy-duddy, because yeah, it just didn't hit that spot for me, unfortunately.
What are you gonna do? Throw magic stars at chupacabras with your tongue?
Maybe, Dad. Nick's tongue is very limber.
How do you know that?
We have been betrayed. The peace we once knew.
Now I mentioned this game earlier when I was talking about Snow Day. South Park Stick of Truth. Now this is great fun. It is basically a turn-based combat game, but the art stylings on this, you feel like you're in a South Park episode, or rather the movie. They put it together really well. It is super funny. The one-liners. They should have kept this formula for Snow Day. I think they would have done a lot better. But give this a playthrough. It's not an expensive game anymore. Great fun. Just go for it. If you enjoy South Park, you'll enjoy it. It is just like being in the movie, like I said. And that's all I can say about it, really. It is just fun. Fun, fun, fun.
See when we was kids?
Yeah, why?
The guy we're meeting here is one of them. I think he's got something big for us.
Boom, 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 boom. You pull this off, I won't forget it. Trust me.
I then got on to Mafia II. I was super excited to play this, and it did not disappoint. It is a follow-on, kind of, from the first one. You are playing different characters, but if you play this, at the end you'll see it tie in, and it blew me away again. These Mafia games, I can't believe I didn't play them for so many years. The storytelling, graphically, it's not the best graphically, but it's good, and the storytelling's fantastic. The soundtrack, you get a bond with these characters. A lot of people say it's a GTA clone. I can see what they're talking about, but to me they have their own sort of style, and it's phenomenal. It's a must play. I bought the trilogy in the end just so I could play them all, and this did not disappoint me one bit. I loved every minute of it.
The working man's a sucker, that's for damn sure.
You said it.
Now, Shadow of Colossus, it has been sat as a digital download on my PS5 for about a year. Hadn't played it. I wanted a shortish game to play in between other games coming out and things, so I thought, right, let's give it a go. I've always liked the art style of it. Let's try it out. I never got round to it on PS2, so let's give it a shot. I loved it. It is a short game, but by Joe, graphically this remake or remaster, it is outstanding. The Colossi in here just blew me away. You've got to find the different weak spots, and some of them are quite tricky to figure out on how to beat these Colossi, but it's breathtaking, some of it, the actual visuals. Give it a try. If you've played the original and you enjoyed it and you haven't bothered with this one, go give it a replay through with this version. It is amazing.
In the end, you're still that same child I knew. Helpless. Like the night I killed your father.
Now, Sifu, I was recommended this by
Revenge.
Retro Rob and Jordan Wild Game Hunting Instagram.
Show me.
It's not a game I would normally have played, but I really enjoyed it. It is solid, I'm not going to lie. Combat is like no other. It's probably the best combat I have ever played in a video game. The art style, it's a little bit different, but it's pleasing on the eye, and it just blew my mind. I love the way that every time you die you get a year older. So say if you start at 20 and you die, you then start back at 21 all the way up until you're in your 70s, and the character actually gets older. So it's a great little idea. It's made by a small indie studio, but they have blown it out of the water. You don't actually need massive budgets to make a good game, and this is proof of that. The combat in this is phenomenal. Like I said, it's the best combat I've ever used. The combos and things you can do is insane. So if you haven't played this, give it a go. It's not an expensive game and well worth your money. the long-awaited third part to the trilogy, the Mafia trilogy. I was so happy to play this. I thought, here we go, this is going to be fantastic. I was very, very wrong. I did not enjoy this at all. Now, other people have enjoyed this, they thought it was great, but to me, if you haven't played the first two, you won't get it. This it's like a completely different game. This is definitely a GTA clone. Felt too much GTA-like to me. It dragged on for way too long. I couldn't wait for it to be over. I can see, like, some people may enjoy it, but it just wasn't there for me. The storyline wasn't great in my eyes. It was just a flop. It ruined the trilogy for me, if I'm honest. I hope they bring out another Mafia game, if they do, like Mafia 4. And it's nothing like this. I hope they go back to the original formula. What they've done with the Mafias, they've kind of gone up through the years as well. So you had like the 20s, then the 50s, and then this one's 70s. It's okay, like I don't mind the time period, but it just, the game didn't press my buttons. I just couldn't get, I'd say I couldn't get on with it. It played okay, but it just was not for me, and it kind of ruined the trilogy for me. So bear that in mind, but you may enjoy it, so let me know if you've enjoyed it, or if I'm just talking nonsense.
Spilled blood. You know what it breeds? Loyalty. Family and who you're born with is who you die for. Jesus. Fuck. Just behind you.
Evil West. I was told God of War meets Red Dead Redemption. Did I enjoy this game? It was okay. It's nothing special. It's a bit of a hack and slash, bit of a shooter type of thing. Graphically, it's okay. Story wasn't brilliant. It kills a few hours, put it that way. I wouldn't pay top dollar for this. I think I picked it up for like £10 or £12. It's probably worth a little bit more than that, don't get me wrong. It's a short game. It's okay to play, but it's not brilliant. There's a few puzzles and things that I enjoyed. Some of the gunplay was fun, but it's not one of those games that I would say definitely run out and buy. If you've got a few hours to kill and you want a bit of mindless violence, pick this game up and it'll tick the box for you.
Number of parallel realities, different every time we set upon the road that leads us there, and yet always familiar to us. In Night Springs.
Alan Wake 2 DLC, Night Springs. Now, like I said before, I don't know if you can count this as a game. It's very short. I think I did it all in one live stream, so it's like 2 to 3 hours long. Basically, Night Springs is the TV show that it pops up in Alan Wake and Alan Wake 2. This is like 3 episodes from there. They are all different in their styles, and it's great fun. I loved the Alan Wake 2 game. This is definitely a game I'm going to go back and try and platinum. It was nice to come back because I played it on release, and not that I forgot about it, but you forget how good that game is. And then when I went back to play this, it brought back so many great memories. So get the DLC if you have Alan Wake 2. They're bringing a physical copy out soon. Can't wait to get it.
Who can ever truly know how deep the rabbit hole goes in?
Here we are, boy. Bullworth Academy. Have fun, Jimmy.
Hopkins, you're quite the nastiest little
Another game that has taken me so long to play. Never played it on the PS2 growing up, and it's just been out on my radar ever since. I owned the game for a while. I thought let's get it played. I did a few live streams with this. Everyone enjoyed it. I liked the game, but I did get a bit bored during the middle. I found it very repetitive, but it did pull itself back at the end. So I'd say if it's a 20-hour game, between the 12 to 17-hour mark, I was not feeling it as much, but then it sort of pulled itself back. So great playthrough. Rockstar, you are geniuses. Obviously the graphics don't hold up great now, but it is still great fun to play in 2024. Give it a bash.
Keep it clean.
Welcome to Bullworth.
You pledge to give your life in service to our righteous cause. By this communion, you are bound to our sacred order.
Now this game piqued my interest purely because of the cover art. I saw it in CX and I asked someone, is this any good? It's only £8. They said it was a good playthrough. It's not brilliant, but it's a good playthrough. I loved this game. Graphically phenomenal. Being a PS4 game as well. The story was fun. The voice acting was great. The gunplay's fun. The combat. I loved everything about this game. My biggest gripe is it's a little bit short, and they should have brought a sequel out. I don't know why. This came out in like 2014 or something, or 2016. Definitely needs a sequel. I don't know why they haven't done one, because I can't imagine why this game wasn't a hit. Absolutely loved it. Pick it up. It is so cheap. Get it played. This game is great.
Izzy, you'll be fine.
I can't do this much longer. Not this life.
Save your strength. Bring the police to my door, to my rig.
I can sort this, right? I just need time.
Don't you answer me back! You're fine.
Now Still Waits the Deep is a relatively new game, new release this year. Laura showed me a trailer of it and I was like, that looks absolutely insane. Let's buy it. So I bought it, played it, and I loved it. Biggest gripe with this game is it is too short. The voice acting is probably the best I've seen in a game, probably. The graphics are phenomenal. I was just staring at the floor a lot of the time, thinking how realistic it was. It's great fun, it's a good story. It's just too short. I wish they made this game longer. Fingers crossed they'll make a sequel, or their next game will be longer. If they continue with this formula, it's going to be absolutely outstanding.
I know you wish things were different.
And the last game I have completed this year is The Last of Us Part 2.
I wish things were different.
What can I say? One of my most favourite games of all time. Now, I know I got a lot of slack for the story and what happened in certain events, but if the original game didn't exist, obviously this game wouldn't exist, but if there was no Last of Us and Naughty Dog released this game, everyone would say it was a fantastic game, best game ever. It's just because it's been compared to the first one, and a few things happen to people you get attached to, and it leaves a sour taste in your mouth. I don't care what any of you say, this is one of the best games ever made. Controls are fantastic, the gunplay is fantastic, the story is fantastic, the voice acting, the graphics. This game wants for nothing. It is like playing a blockbuster movie. I could literally sit and just watch this as a movie and let someone else do the playing for me. Entertainment for hours. I didn't want it to end. That's how good it was. I'm tempted to go back and play The Last of Us again, and then this again. Absolutely outstanding game. If you don't like it, there's something wrong with you, because if you think of it face value as a game, it is probably one of the best games ever created, whether you like the story or not. If you remained impartial, this is up there with the bests ever.
There's a cost.
We could have killed you. Maybe you should have.
So there we are. That's my year in games, part 1. Halfway through the year so far. Let me know in the comments how many games you've successfully completed this year. Have you played any of the ones I mentioned? And what are your thoughts on those games? So, you know, let me know if you felt differently to me about certain games and whatnot. So I'd like to thank you all for watching. Thank you for joining me. Hit that thumbs up if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you all on the next one. So take care, stay safe, and game on.
Big respect to the gamer, name of Wayne. In his world, PlayStation reigns the same, and he's got love for the levels, high score or not. But for now, he'll show you why his collection's hot. Wayne's